now.
All right, ready?
3, 2, 1, go. Aaron fucking Yeager. He started as a little bitch, right?
Yeah.
He was angry all the time. He was whining all the
Titans
time.
killed my parent.
I'm gonna kill them all. I'm gonna kill them all. He has a Sasuke syndrome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's one of those things where it's just like I understand in that realistic point of view, I can see why he would feel that way because his whole town got messed up, his mother died, all that jazz, right? But it was just a quality about him. He wasn't likable. All the side characters were more likable than he was.
Yeah.
And then you go to the time skip, and he's older, and now he just wants to kill everyone. He becomes the villain of the story.
Yeah.
Which
and it's such a earned like evolution of his character because it's not just like, oh well, I'm the villain now. It's like you see it near the end before the time skip when he's like kneeling before Astoria and it gets the flash,
the memories.
Yeah, and it's just like he's like, oh, it's all useless. Like it is all fucking useless.
Well, it's the fact that he sees the future from that very point,
right?
Which is pretty crazy to me. Like from that very point onward, and like we went past that point, no? In the anime, just so for people who are animes.
Yeah, we were past that.
Yeah, like there's more content after that, right? It's the time skip doesn't start there, right? I forget now. It's been so long.
I think the time skips.
I know they go to the beach, and that's
Yeah.
when it actually starts. But did they do anything else in that time frame?
I think. I'm trying to.
It was so long ago.
It was a while ago.
It's not really relevant. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is that he's known for the longest time that he's gonna start the rumbling, and that he was gonna do this. He's been plotting this whole time.
Yeah.
And like to a degree, he tried really hard to like not have it go this way.
Yeah.
But he saw no other options at all, and he made himself the villain. And I know I said that Aaron was a bitch in the beginning, which he was. But you can, even in season 2 and 3, you can see the gradual shift.
Well, because he was a kid in the beginning,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it's just as he learns more.
Yeah.
Like when we learned that the Titans are humans, and like that whole goal shifted. Like originally,
Reiner and Berholt are traitors.
are traitors, yeah. And like Historia is the rightful queen. Like there's a lot of information. Like the government's corrupted, King Fritz, all that
he
stuff.
ate his dad.
Seriously, there's a lot of stuff, and the fact that he actually dictated that was insane.
That was crazy.
Yeah, you find out like that Aaron literally has orchestrated. That's the best word I was looking for. Thank you. Has orchestrated the entire series from literally his mom being eaten all the way up to the end of the rumbling.
That we'll get to that. We'll get there, but it was like interesting because like it seemed so rightful that Aaron became the villain because it was like, yeah, of course he was the villain. Like he's kind of a genocidal maniac because like with the whole war of Marley and stuff and kind of figuring out all this fucked up shit. He's kind of like, yeah, fuck everyone. I want to protect my home. Like,
well, it's like he learns to play their game.
Yeah,
and he does it better. Like at first, when Marley attacked Paradise in the very initial beginning of the series, it was viewed as such a hateful act,
right?
And like how like they're just monsters, and like how could they do this? Like overall. But as Aaron comes to find out, it's like literally they're the same. Like they're just brainwashed by the past, you know. And he does the same thing to them overall because he really understands like that's the warfare that you have to play.
Yeah, he has his own little cult.
Yeah, he literally has the Jaegerist, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy that follow him because he's a leader now. Like he went from this person who was just like he had Levi, he had Erwin, he had the commander with the weird eyes, who's always sunken eyes. I forget his name now. All these people influencing him to become like this groomed to be this like leader.
Yeah.
You just don't expect it to go that way.
Right.
Where he's the villain of the story to a
because
degree.
he's got the founder title. Like he's gonna be the hero. And it's like, well,
and like they just have this great line coming through by the armor titan. What's his name? Oh my god. Reiner. Thank you so much. Sorry. Reiner, that he says that Aaron is the worst person to have this power. And they say it early on in the series.
Yeah.
And he repeats it again when he fights him. And it's just like it's really kind of true, but not true. Like he's the person that it's like the Dark Knight, right? It's like he's the hero that we need, but not the one that I mean, that we deserve, but not the one that we need right now. Right, and it's the same thing with this situation. Like it's the hero that they deserve, but not the one that they need. Because he just wants to cause more hysteria and more violence in hopes that will protect his people.
Yeah.
But really, it's like recycling the condition of what King Fritz did and all the other Eldians did in the back days that made them be cast outs and castaways in the first place.
Near the end, also, what was really interesting is that he was kind of setting up his own failure of like he wanted to be stopped by the end because he's like, I kind of don't want to murder everyone, and like I hate my life right now. Like, just kill me. Like,
well, it was like he became the villain for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, the whole world was divided.
On purpose, too.
On purpose, yeah. The whole world is divided. How do we unite them? We unite them against a common cause. Yeah. A common enemy. And he made himself that enemy. Yeah. But the fact that he just orchestrated, because like with the Attack Titan, he can go to the future and past memories of his previous and future users. So the fact that he manipulated Grisha into killing the Fritz... Yeah. And, like, just doing everything that he did for the most part. Even back when Grisha first met the first Eren.
Right.
When he said, protect Mikasa and Armin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was like, whose memories are that? You know what I mean? It's, like, future. It's pretty nuts that he's been orchestrating for so long and planning this for so long. Sacrificing all his friends. Mm-hmm. You know, everything that happened to Armin, even the fire thing and him becoming the Colossal Titan had to be his influence.
See, this is what I was going to say before. The path... memory thing is cool, but it's also convoluted and opens up like it's basically time travel shenanigans, right? Because then you have like the last chapter is like, well, I actually made that Titan eat my mom, and you're like,
what?
Why would you do that to yourself? Like,
it's just so stupid. It's character assassination times 10.
Yeah. Oh my god. So we were talking about Eren was kind of getting everyone to hate him, even his own friends.
So the cool thing about Eren, if I can explain, the cool thing about Eren was that he was very stern and within his convictions.
Right.
Like, he knew that this was bad. He knew he was murdering people and like by the millions. Yeah. And he was just about that life. And yes, that's like really terrible, like an outward view, like, but as a character, to see him have such an evolution, it was like, whoa. And he had all these good qualities of like a good leader. He was a good villain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Overall, he became a really cool character. And Hisayama just put him in the ground, like completely. Backtracking. First off, he said
Eren and Mika shippers friend.
Oh my god, dude. The Mikasa stuff is probably the worst stuff of the ending. Like, honestly, apparently Mikasa is the MC of the story. Yeah. Apparently she's the MC. It wasn't Eren. So. Apparently it was her. Like, at every turn of her affection, Eren has been like, get off me. Every single time. Even when they were about to die by the Titans, when he first discovered he had the Founding Titan power. Right? She was like, I love you. I wanted to die with you. And he was like, get off me. And he punched the shit out of the Titan. He was like, I'm not about that. The feels right now. I'm trying to survive. Yeah. And then at the very last minute, right?
Well, no. Even worse than that. It's like the chapter beforehand, it's like, I kind of had feelings, but like I knew I had to become the villain. So it's like I'm sorry in the sense, like I did care about you, but like it had to be this way.
And like even all the hurtful things that he said just recently, like when he was talking about how Mikasa's a slave and that he hates her the most.
Well, yeah.
Like all that stuff, and then it just to backtrack. And Armin was like, "You said that stuff, so we would stay away from you, didn't you?" And he was like, "How'd you know?"
Well, not just backtrack, but like hard backtrack. He's like, "Well, I want to love her. Like I don't want anyone else to marry her." And you're like, "Who are you right now?"
Seriously, because obviously Eren dies at the end of the series.
Yeah.
Overall. And he knew he was going to die. And he was like, I don't want to die. I want to be with Mikasa and have babies and get married and all these other things. I want her to think about her with somebody else. And I was thinking to myself, dude, where was this the rest of the series?
And the fact that he's like crying and like, and you're like, what? But the previous chapter, you were kind of like, it was at least like chill. It was kind of like, I did have kind of feelings towards you, but like I knew it couldn't
and that makes more sense because he was kind of with the program, but he never let himself go there.
Yeah.
So which is why
and at least like you had the confirmation of like, oh, he's not a total jerk ass. There was still something there, but like his ideals,
there were motives to why he acted the way he did.
Yeah. But this was just like, I didn't know we went back to fucking volume 1. Like
seriously, and just like to have them like basically just say that everybody in the camp of the scouts were like cool with Aaron after he gave them a final message before he died. After he killed a ton of people, including people's families in the group, they find out that he was orchestrating everything and that he killed all the other scouts. He gives one last goodbye message about how this was all an act and that he just needed to do this.
Surprise.
And everyone's like, cool, dude, we're all good bros
Connie's
again.
like, but Sasha.
Exactly. Seriously, one person with common sense. Like, I understand that's like the shonen way. It's like with Sasuke with Naruto, you know. He, no matter how many bad things he did, like everyone's like, "Oh, you're cool now." You know what I mean? But still, like Attack on Titan's always had like this kind of realism to it, in the way that it presents its characters and like government and politics and all these other things.
It was very human.
Yeah, and just to have it be like everyone's cool. Like, at least within the people, obviously the people that don't know him hate him, but you know what I mean? But I mean, like, the people he's with. I don't know if I could handle that. If one of my friends killed a bunch of my other friends and just was just like, sorry. I don't know.
You know what the rule is? It's like, if you kill 10,000 people, you're a horrible person. But 9,999, well,
Yeah.
not 10,000.
I guess, but like in real world settings, I mean, I think everybody would still be like,
Oh, yeah, you're a genocidal maniac.
yeah, yeah.
Listen, I remember that one panel when it's like those kids running and the Titans just
Oh my
crushed them.
God.
They had like, oh my God. And Aaron's like, well, I'm sorry. But.
Yeah, they had this whole op-ed of these two younger brothers who were like Eldians, who were poor, that were like, were they playing or grabbing crops
Something
or
like that.
Something like that. Scouting for money of some sort. They were poor.
Yeah.
And they had this whole little small backstory in the beginning of the panel about how their life is hard, but they want, like, the big brother wants to protect the little brother.
Yeah.
And then a Titan just stomps on them.
It's just all the colossal Titans
From the rumbling.
the rumbling just like stroll on in and they're like, oh fuck, and they just get pulverized.
Yeah, it's like you can. It's like always those scenes in movies when a big object is about to fall on somebody, and you get that shot of them, like the reaction to this massive thing falling on them. It was like that.
I mean, you get the post too. You see them, their bodies like crushed.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, it was really real. It was dark. I like dark anime and seinen and all that other stuff. It was very seinen. Like,
and Aaron's just kind of like, I'm sorry this happened, like, but I need it to happen.
And like, all right, like if you're gonna be that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fine. But the fact that you backtrack and you go, like, how could you feel something at all? How could you feel anything and do what you did? To say that, like, oh, I love you all, guys, and this is why I did this for you, and I've always had feelings for Mikasa. Like, how could you even have emotions?
I think that's what irritates me the most about the ending. Because literally, the chapter before, you have when Mikasa finally gets to like Aaron's like
head thing,
and you just see his face, and he's just so like destroyed. He's so like dead inside. He's asking, like, just do it, man. I don't want to live anymore. And it's kind of like, yeah, like everything you've done is. I would feel that, like,
yeah,
everything's kind of almost useless at this point, and like you're just kind of like attempting something, just hoping like you finally solve this fucking problem, but like.
It would have been a great ending to the series if they just ended it with her killing him, but he never backtracked because it shows the validity of the world that they live in.
If you got rid of all that like flashback thing with Armin, I think it would have probably. Well, actually, that would have fixed one part of it.
Yeah, there's other parts, and we'll get to that in a second. But overall, it was just terrible. Like, I just don't understand what the thought process was for that. Like, if they just ended it with him dying and everyone hating him and he really stuck through, but they stopped him, for example, right? Yeah. He really was going to kill everybody, but he stopped them. Literally, it would have been like, okay, Attack on Titan is about a world with these creatures and how messed up humans can be. Right. Who are the real monsters, right? Yeah. And how it could affect somebody to live in this world. Like, all his pain, all the loss, all the grief turned him into this villain, right? Which was very interesting. But for it to be a whole facade the whole time, like, what impact was there? You know, in his character specifically, like, what impact really was there? He's been the same person all the time. He's just been lying to us. It was just terrible. And then the whole thing with the stupid blob.
The centipede thing?
The centipede thing. What the fuck?
It shows up and it's like, oh, well.
What was that? What was the purpose? That was supposed to be like the ground zero for Attack on Titan powers, like Titan powers in general. I guess. And they were like, "Oh, this blob is there. We got to kill it." And then the next chapter, it just disappears completely. No mention of it. No redirect as to what occurs here.
Isayama forgot.
Seriously, I honestly don't know. I think it was a time crunch thing, but then the extended version literally has nothing to do with anything.
So, speaking of the extended version, and what you were talking about before of Mikasa's actually the main character.
Oh my god.
So, like, there's the ending. Everyone's Aaron's dead, and like the body's disintegrating, and like you kind of see all the ghosts of the people who've passed, and like, oh, you know, like you see the scouts, you see Sasha, you see Hanji, and it's like, oh man, it's really sad. And then Ymir shows up to Mikasa, and Mikasa's like, it was actually you controlling me this whole time. And you're like, what? You're like, wait, what? Also, before that, before the extended version, you have like, you know, Ymir actually loved King Fritz.
I was about to say that. So the biggest, despite the fact that Aaron's character assassination is really bad, the biggest thing, the worst part of this ending is that the show went from I'm going to kill all the Titans to this is a love story.
This is an abusive love story.
Like, what a fucking jump is that? Literally, at the end of the series, there's like this little Opage chapter where Mikasa is having this vision of her living a life with Eren on the run, because they were gonna like, what were they gonna do? Like, just use him until he dies and then transfer over his powers? That was the plan at that point.
Something,
right? They were gonna go with the whole like, let's have the queen have babies and then pass over the founding titan to her family, and just like this vicious cycle, right? So it was like an alternative ending where Mikasa and Eren were on the run and spent the rest of his life before he died of the Titan powers together and like in a family, and like, you know what I mean, overall. And it was just so out there, and everyone was so confused. They were like, was this a vision? Was this an alternate reality? It was never really explained. And straight from there, it went from basically specifying that the whole point of the story is that Ymir was a slave to King Fritz, and we always thought that she was just a tool at his disposal. But in reality, she was in love with him the whole time, and no matter what abuse, the chopping off arms, the forcing, the rape, the everything, just terrible stuff that he did. She loved him all the same through that. And that is just so terrible. Romanticizing like domestic abuse and having it be like that. Like, it's one thing to have it happen and be like King Fritz was a real piece of shit. Yeah. But to have it be like that she was okay with all of this stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the last chapter in a nutshell, because like you had Eren become this like mass genocide guy. Like you're like, I'm just gonna kill the world, and everyone's like, that's really not a good idea. And the audience is like, yeah, he's a villain now. And then the last chapter is like, well, you know, he didn't really mean it though. You know,
seriously.
And that's why Twitter kind of blew up, because it's like, are you saying that it's okay as long as you're like, you're like, oh well, it was for kind of a good cause, right? Like,
yeah, like not only did he do it once with King Fritz and Ymir, he does it a second time with Eren and Mikasa. Like literally, Eren has been a dick to her the whole series. And we always wonder why she still clings to him, right? All because he saved her one time. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was like literally like...
Because you're bound to me.
Yeah, you find out that that's the case. And the whole point of the story was that she broke her love curse and actually killed him. And that freed Ymir, because Ymir could never let go of King Fritz. So she broke the cycle of love.
And that's even more funny, because I thought that cycle was broken earlier. Like, because there's at one point in the manga where
she leaves her scarf.
She leaves her scarf.
Yeah.
And I thought that was going to be like, she realized what she was.
She's branching out on her own.
She's done. Yeah.
And now we get... And it's not over. Oh, you thought that was it?
Oh, no.
You thought that was it? Now we have the extended version. And the extended version just makes the whole entire series pointless. 100%. Mm-hmm. So it starts off and you see old Mikasa with her husband and children visiting Eren's grave.
Is it them? Can you... We have it. We have it up.
Let me pull it up.
Let's check it out if it's actually them. Is it specified?
That's far. It's too far. No, actually, it's not too far. Hold on. Where is it?
It's not entirely clear.
No, it is her.
Is it her?
Yeah, it is her. It's confirmed. Because in the last chapter, that's where they buried him.
Yeah, I get that.
So I think there's dialogue. I think it's maybe not here. I don't know if there's dialogue. Don't quote me on it, but I don't know if there's dialogue specifically, but it's implied that that's her because they have the
Is
descendant.
that Jean?
Yeah, but we're gonna get to that in 1 second. But you see her; she's like the descendant of Mikasa. You can tell she looks just like her with the scarf and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's implied, I think, that this is her and other friends visiting his grave, right, on an anniversary. But here's the craziest part, man, is that means that the cycle wasn't broken. She never really got over Eren. First off, she got with Jean. That looks like Jean. There's
no horse faces though.
no, but like that looks like Jean. Tell me that doesn't look like Jean in that panel with his hair.
Yeah.
So that means that she just got with. First off, poor Jean. That means that he's with her solely because Eren was dead, and she's still obsessed with him. Clearly, overall,
being cucked from the afterlife.
seriously, like how are you gonna do my boy Jean like that? It's just so disrespectful. I don't understand the thought process. I don't get it. It's freaking crazy, and it just goes on. It just gets even more terrible. Look at this panel. This is the worst panel of the whole thing. If you're not, we'll show it up on the screen with the highlights and everything. But literally, it's showing that paradise is being blown to smithereens. It's more futuristic. They have like skyscrapers now and everything, so you can see it's been a very long time.
Anti-aircraft, all this stuff.
All these like freaking missiles just being dropped on all these buildings.
You know it's fake because that tree would have not been there for that long.
Seriously, but the fact that everything that Eren did was pointless. He only saved a certain period of people and just damned the descendants. He said, and he's really cursed Mikasa. Mikasa's, even if he loved Mikasa, he wouldn't put Mikasa's children and her descendants in this position.
Right.
Not to mention that she ends up scouting around her little descendant, right, with her dog, and finds the same tree that Ymir was found for the Titans.
Wait.
So you don't see, this is not the full thing. This is bullshit. It's not the full thing. Because you'll see a side-by-side panel at this portion where Ymir is looking at the same tree.
Wait, no, hold up. Wait. Okay, so I haven't actually read the whole thing, the extended version. Because
sure.
I've read the actual ending, but not the extended. Wait, so so that tree where his tombstone was that the Ymir tree, or is that...
Let me take a look. No, it's different. It's different.
So this is a different tree.
It's a different tree completely, yeah. Because you don't see his grave there.
So,
because look at Eren's tree. There's no giant crater like in the middle of it. But in the actual extended version, I've seen it. There's a portion where you see, Ymir.
But there's no grave near the war one.
Yeah, exactly. There's no grave here. It's not the same tree.
Oh, okay.
But you see a side by side panel in this portion where Ymir, the original Ymir, is looking at the same tree when she found the founding Titan powers to begin with.
Oh my god! My god!
So not only did he curse her descendants and all his friends' descendants for war, but he cursed her in the sense that her descendants are now going to restart the Titans.
Holy shit!
That means
Oh my god!
That means Attack on Titan was butchered solely on the event that they have a sequel series.
Oh my god!
Dude, it's awful. It's freaking awful.
Oh my god! Like, Jesus Christ! Like, Izayama, what are you doing?
That's what I'm saying. It was literally the editing team and the company were like, we need you to make a sequel series. Attack on Titan's making us too much money. It's too much money.
Oh my god! In the original ending, it was kind of ambiguous with the whole paradise thing, because like they're all taken over by Jaegerists, so they're not going to be really accepting the peace, and like Armin and the group are kind of going to be like advocating for it and trying to fix it.
Yeah, they were saying we don't know if we could fix the peace, but we're going to try.
But this is like hard confirmed, no, it failed, and they got wiped out, and then the cycle starts again.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's really, really, really bad. I'm glad we can get this because you haven't read it, you said, right?
I did not.
That's so funny, dude.
Well, even I did not make
the connection.
The connection that it was a different tree.
Yeah, that it was a different tree, right? He tried to play you, but if you really look at it, it's really different.
Fucking Christ. Why would you do that? Why would you?
I don't know. a part of me wants to hold out hope and be like, it's not his fault and that it's the company's fault.
No, listen. Listen, you did an extended ending. Like, you did it, like, with the original ending, like, you couldn't, there's some debate on stuff, but, like, you doubled down on bullshit. And I'm like, that's, no.
Yeah, I know. It's really bad.
Oh my god.
And it's just so interesting because you can see the difference between Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan so purely with their extended cut, right? So when we go to the extended cut of Demon Slayer...
Well, actually, before we get to the extended cut,
let's talk about Demon Slayer's ending.
Yeah,
spoiler, right. All right, so this is the spoiler version of our Demon Slayer ending
we're still in
review.
the spoiler
thing.
We're still in the spoiler window.
When it comes to Demon Slayer, when the Muzan attacks the whole... what is it? The headquarters?
Yeah.
Because... Nezuko finally figures out how to stay in the sun as a demon.
Right.
And that's been Muzan's biggest fear ever is the sun.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes him not a god.
Right.
At this point is that he could die from the sun.
Yeah.
And the whole arc of them fighting and having the 12 moons come, and you find out that the first moon is literally the brother of the greatest demon slayer ever and the originator, and he's so epic. Like, all of that was so cool.
It was hype as shit, and like Muzan was a tough ass fight.
Facts. And like the fact that Zenitsu had a new freaking form, and like his backstory is why he was training so hard. Like, all of it was sick. Like, they were all doing sick stuff. The only part with Muzan that I had a problem with is that I felt that the fight kind of went on like a really long time, and there was never a moment in the fight that I thought it needed to go on a really long time because nothing really changed. It was like, okay, they get the upper hand on Muzan. Muzan shows that he has another ability. They get the upper hand on Muzan. Muzan finds that he has another tactic. It's the same formula over and over again. And I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's getting a little boring, you know?
Yeah.
But then when he dies, quote unquote, and he gives his blood to Tanjiro.
Right.
That was amazing. Basically, the whole thing about Demon Slayer was that you got to pass down your will to the next generation. You know what I mean? And you have to make a better world for people. And Tanjiro and his nature even affected Muzan in just a different way. Like, Muzan was a corrupted, evil piece of shit. Right. And he was like, I want to pass this on to you. You know what I mean? My will upon the world. You're going to become the perfect demon.
Right.
And he did. He was the sickest one there. And he had all of Muzan's abilities and strength.
Yeah.
And they kind of just ended it in one chapter or two. I forget how long it took. But it wasn't long. One chapter. I'm like... And first off, when it came to Nezuko and they gave her the medication, it took her a little bit of time to become like a human again.
Right.
And the fact that Tanjiro became a human like instantaneously, like right after the serum. You know what I mean? It was not that long afterwards compared to Nezuko's transformation. And I get that she was a demon longer.
Yeah. I mean,
but he had all of Muzan's blood. He was the apex demon. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't see why that was so fast. I mean, it's a nitpick, I guess. I feel
like it was like almost the author's like, listen, like half the cast is dead. Like, seriously, they need a break. Like, let's just have like a little spook, and then it's like, all right, it's finished.
Dude, but it was really cool. I really liked what they did with that. I thought that was a really interesting way.
Now, the actual final chapter.
Sure.
Once you get past like the sort of ending, or like you see what happens to them afterwards, you actually end up in the future, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And you see where the descendants are, and they're kind of just living almost normal lives, and because like there's no more demons. Yeah,
it's like in the future, and like you see like it's kind of cool because you see like reincarnations of the snake Hashira and the love Hashira. And that they're together because they had like romantic relationships in the series, but they can never complete it because they both died.
Yeah.
So see their descendants have like 5 children.
Well, they fulfilled a promise they're gonna.
That they were gonna do, and you see like Tanjiro's descendants and Zenitsu's, and all of them are just kind of intertwined and connected still. And you see like one of Tanjiro's descendants is like super like agile and has like all like, you know, he's a prodigy of his abilities, you know, Tanjiro's abilities and everything like that. Not that it really goes anywhere because, like you said, there's a peaceful time period. You're just showing this, like, oh, all their hard work amounted to this for the future.
Yeah, they did it.
Yeah, and that was an okay ending to me, but I wanted to see what what everyone did afterwards. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I think what they did with the extending ending was completely so perfect. Basically, it starts off with everyone together,
Yeah.
and they're visiting the graves of the previous demon slayers that died within the war with the demons.
Right.
So they visited for like 3 days overall. And that was really wholesome that they're praying and everything like that. But the best part is that when Zenitsu, Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Nezuko all go back to their home, the family home, and you see that everyone in their village had been cleaning it the whole time that they were gone.
Yeah.
Like showing like how much they love that family.
Right.
And you see just all of them like praying there, like you can see it on the screen right
what
there.
was it? The guy who was buying like charcoal or whatever.
Yeah, it was him. It was him. That was
Yeah.
like the benefactor who was the one who first told Tanjiro to be careful of the demons in the first place. Yeah, it was
And
his
he's like
effort.
sobbing and apologizing, like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like,
Yeah, it was very wholesome. And then you just see them spending time there, and you see that Inosuke finds like, you know how when you're like you have children or when people have children, they like mark their height.
yeah.
Inosuke was like, "What are these markings of this monster? I've never seen this monster before." And Tanjiro was like, "No, like these are just markings of our height." And he's like, "I want to do that." And you see a panel of him like on his tippy toes trying to stand tall. It's really wholesome and it's cute. And you see that like when Nezuko is being nice to Inosuke for having the tallness, Zenitsu's getting jealous and saying she's being too nice to him and everything like that. Because they end up together, that's pretty much confirmed.
I mean, listen, I know Zenitsu was annoying in the beginning.
Oh, he's so sick in the manga, man.
But like he fucking earned it.
After that, once the training arc is where he really like that shit.
Like he becomes such a good character.
Yeah, he's a badass,
and
dude.
like
He's always been kind of badass.
Like even when he was early on and still kind of annoying, like he defended the box. Like he was cool. I'm like, you know what? If anyone would fall in love, yeah, go.
Dude, yeah, he's a good character. Like, I understand that it could be annoying when he screams, like, consistently and cries like a baby. Like, at first, my girlfriend, because my girlfriend is not, like, a big anime person.
Yeah.
But she loves Demon Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, when we were watching it, she kind of found Zenitsu annoying. But you kind of get, like, as you get more familiar with more of their, like, characteristics, you start to find, like, the screaming and his crybabiness, like, endearing.
Yeah.
Of his character, you know what I mean?
I was worried it was going to be another Manita.
But the difference is that Zenitsu can actually throw down.
Yeah. Oh.
Manita can't do anything.
Well, he can kind of throw down.
He throws grapes from his head.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you've been following the
manga?
the anime.
Oh, with the Class A versus Class B arc?
Yeah.
I hate that arc so much. It's just boring to me.
Well, the only cool thing is
yeah, it's aired already.
Yeah.
Black Whip. The fact that
Black
Deku
Whip,
has
yeah.
multiple quirks and everything like that.
But like, he's not totally useless. He's just
Mineta, he's good for like capturing.
He's good for as an assist.
He's an assist character. Yeah, he's an assist character pretty much.
You have to hit RB.
Mineta. Yeah, seriously, just throwing grapes off his head. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah, but I think that's the difference. Like, he gets really cool, and there's character development for him, while Mineta is just like this like classic like grade A pervert.
Yeah.
You know, that's just supposed to be comedic relief, but he's really just annoying.
Demon Slayer was. You were right when you said like wholesome. Right, all the characters were just awesome. Like not just basically on pure ability, but just like
their personalities,
and how they interacted. It was just like, yeah, like this feels like a family almost.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the extended ending, really gives that well. That's what I wanted. I wanted, where are they now? What are they gonna do now? And it turns out they're just gonna go live at Tanjiro's old house together. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then when it ends in like this very like beautiful monologue where he talks about like, I hope everyone is, gets a happy life. I just want everyone to have a happy life. I wonder what the future is going to be like. And it just transitions so perfectly
into the future
part. And I'm like, that was really what we were missing. I love its ending now.
And
I really love it.
Tanjiro decided like, no, I can't, and he wanted to commit mass genocide.
No.
That old piece of Muzan's still in him, and he's like, oh man.
And then he professes his love to Inosuke.
To Nezuko.
To Nezuko. No, I know. If they butcher something like that, that'd be crazy, man. No, it's just a difference. I like we were talking about this because you can see a clear-cut difference between a really good ending and a really bad ending. And they both had similar circumstances where people felt a little off about each one's
Yeah.
ending, and one did an extended version and really fixed it, and one did an extended version and just really buried it down.
Because the thing with Demon Slayer is that, like you were saying, it's like Attack on Titan didn't mean anything by the end because it was just a big cycle. And I know this is why I hate the past, because it was like, oh,
Yeah,
it was
I
fate
know.
and it was cycles.
I know.
But like with Demon Slayer, it's like you won and you did it, and like everyone has their happy ending. We're all living lives. We could be normal, and that's great because like it was worth all the struggle and all the loss, and like it was not for vain.
No, their lives, their sacrifice meant something.
Yeah.
For future generations to come, hundreds of years, thousands if not thousands. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now all the deaths in Attack on Titan
Were meaningless.
not only meaninless, they feel like especially
Inconsequential.
like Sasha and Hanji. It feels more like, here's my sad points for this.
It's like
volume.
every death ended up being fodder,
Right.
which is just kind of nuts. I just don't know how you do that to a series. Like,
And I mean,
overall.
and like you can make the argument like, well, it's grim on purpose, you know, like sometimes it's just meaningless in the end. I'm like, but that's
But he backtracked. It
Yeah.
would have been fine if Eren stuck to his convictions and was just a mass murderer and that's what he was about. And then it still went to shit because it just shows that he was a villain. He was wrong.
yeah.
But the fact that he turned good again at the end, it just makes his actions that he did so much worse. You know what I mean? Because
It
he
hurts.
he pretended to be this terrible person and do all these terrible things for absolutely no reason whatsoever. He was really a horrible person in the end, and he just didn't own it. And I think that was really like the problem that I had. And plus the fact that it turned into a love story. Like Demon Slayer's ending was the main goal all along, and they succeeded in that ending, and it was heartfelt and it was hard and it was like a lot of loss, but they did it.
Yeah.
And Attack on Titan, it just never ends. And like what? Now they're gonna have a sequel series about the next generation, and they're all gonna have to fight the Titans again. And like, what, they're gonna be kaiju because it's like in the cities and whatever. You know what I mean? It's
They
just
already
stupid.
have a shonen series about that, I think.
And,
Like,
yeah, Kaiju 8 is a manga.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like
listen,
literally.
it's too late.
If you want to see something, go watch Pacific Rim or something. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just ridiculous. And I guarantee you that sequel series is gonna do shit.
Because no one cares anymore.
Well, only it'll make gravitate. I maybe like because a lot of times I find now like with Boruto and like all these other ones, they're trying to gravitate to a younger audience and not catering to their past older audiences with certain things. Like obviously not there's when it comes to sequels.
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
When it comes to sequels, so I really feel like if it has an audience, it won't be anyone really who was from the previous series unless they just really want to see how this is gonna end up, like how it is. Like maybe they'll dabble.
When the like comedic like school AU Attack on Titan show
Seriously.
is better than the original series.
But it's just like, how could it even be better when this like its predecessor is just ugh. And it sucks because I was never like a giant Attack on Titan fan until the time skip. The time skip really brought me in. And I was like, this is gonna be one of my favorite series ever. And it's hard for me. I don't want to say that it ruined the series for me because it's hard. Endings are hard, and your ending shouldn't dictate the whole series. Like people hate Game of Thrones now because of season 8, right?
Yeah, no one talks about it.
Yeah, they hate it because of season 8. And I've seen Game of Thrones again after that, and I've watched season 8, and yeah, it's bad, but it doesn't ruin the rest of it for me. But there's just something about, I guess, because at the end of the day, there was a resolution to Game of Thrones. Even if we didn't like it, you know what I mean? Like, it ended. Like, there was no more conflict. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to Attack on Titan, I know in the back of my mind that, like, it's just going to go all to hell. And nothing's going to be resolved. And it's just, like, I don't know. I mean, I'll watch the anime because the animation will be sick. I like Studio Mappa.
Yeah.
You know?
What studio now, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no.
It's Studio Mappa. The same people do Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay.
I love Jujutsu Kaisen, by the way. You need to hop on that.
I know. Next time.
I'm completely caught up with the manga, and it's...
Oh, jeez.
When season 2 comes out, Jujutsu Kaisen, I guarantee you it's going to be put on the map.
I mean, it's already on the map.
Yeah, but even more so. Because, like, people... Like, everyone knows now. Like, even the manga community. Everyone knows that the series is not just, like, a one-hit wonder or has a good arc or it's... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely on its own thing. But I don't want to get into that right now.
No,
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.